Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show with your hosts Ken Tizzard and Music for Goats. Brought to you in full color and stereo sound with amplification provided by Trainer. Broadcasting into the world from Storyhouse Studios in Campbellford, Ontario, you'll hear the best of old country, folk, Americana, punk rock, and 80s music delivered into your homes every week for free. And don't forget your regular dose of new and original songs from Music for Goats. Never be alone on a Wednesday night again, 8 p.m. Eastern and 9:30 for those of you in Newfoundland. Join the Whiskey Wednesday regulars on Facebook to be a part of the conversation, or watch on YouTube as well. Pour a drink, a cup of tea, or a nice cold long tooth. Roll up your best smoke and sit back and relax. Don't forget to hit the share button to help spread the word. The Whiskey Wednesday Show, every week. Cheers.
Barry's about to say it, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
I think Barry's just about to say it. I got a remote here, don't I, somewhere? I had a remote.
You did that.
You mean like right
This
here?
one right here? I think it's still clickety-click bar. Oh, no. Oh, that's just me. How you all doing there, folks? Just trying to find where we all here online here. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. Look at that. There it is. Boy, it takes a while to get here, doesn't it? Excellent. Oh, my, there I am. Welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is so nice to see a good crowd already. Hey, Mike, how you doing there, buddy? Trailer Campfire. Good for you, GT. It is trailer time. It's getting to be that time of year where it's nice outside. This is the leanest of times for the internet, where everybody enjoys being outside on their patios and in their backyards having fires and out by their campers and trailers. But thank God for the internet making this all accessible these days. Welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show. Today is Monday, May 15th. It is a week past my 55th birthday. I've had a week of being 55. How's it been? Most everything works the same. I've managed to sort of give everything a test, and it seems to be working. I did go
No details, please.
Oh, no. It's just, you know how that works. I was out running the errands the other day, and I thought, well, I should probably get a little bit of hair dye, clean up the gray a little bit. Ran into the drugstore and grabbed my regular H35 that I use every couple months, and I sat back and brought it up to the counter. It's never cool buying hair dye, but whatever. And the lady behind the counter says, "Oh, do you have our points card?" And I said, No points card." And she said, "Okay, are you taking advantage of our seniors discount?" And I had just turned 55. And I say to her, what 55? Like Freedom 55? She said, No, 65. And I just looked at her and I went, No, I'm not taking advantage of that yet. Came out and I came home. I told Alison, she's still laughing about it. 65. Are you qualifying for the 65-year-old discount? Oh, fuck. And I thought about saying yes just for a second because it's a discount. But then out of the corner of my eyes, I could see the sign 65 and up, 7% discount. 7%. It's not even worth sort of saying I'm 65 for. So,
But it's nice to know you look the part.
Exactly. Anyways, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday Show, ladies and gentlemen. We have got an amazing show for you tonight. It's just going to be incredible. We've got Anna Ruddock on the show. I'll tell you all about that. I've got not a lot to talk about tonight, but we're going to get through. We got lots all going, anyways. Hey, Jillian, how you doing? Steve, Jeannie, Richard. This one is for all you out there. It's called "Already Gone." It goes like this. 52 years old, I'm bored and tired and horny and stoned. I'm listening to the Pixies on the radio in my car. I'm missing you, I'm missing me, I'm missing them, hard to believe. It's been that way since 1984. I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already gone. Been listening to the Clash record playing, and I'm scratching at my head and saying, where have all the good times gone? I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already gone. Here we go.
hard to find my way into believing. Idols the band, I'm missing stereo, missing bass, I'm missing 2K in my face. I'm missing something righteous, something dangerous. I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already gone. Been listening to the Clash record playing, and I'm scratching at my head and saying, where've all the good times gone? I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already gone. I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already. This is the last cool night of summer. Digging through ashtrays once again. What a time we've had. Good night and God bless. Most of my friends are so very lonely. I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already gone. Been listening to the Clash record playing, and I'm scratching at my head and saying, where've all the good times gone? I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already gone. I've been listening to the Clash record playing, and I'm scratching at my head and saying, where've all the good times gone? I won't hear you calling on the telephone, I'm already gone. I'm already gone. Oh, well, I'm already gone. Here we go.
So much fun, so much fun. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. What a great thing. Kim Lundgren Betancourt, how you doing? Nice to see you, and thank you very much. Deb Parson, as always. Aaron O'Mara, Hearts of Purple and Rock and Roll Hands. Love you. Hey, Roger Price, how you doing, man? I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Brian Tench, how are you, man? Oh, man, it's great to see everybody. And MLM, so Justin is flying out tomorrow. MLM Skates is Justin Mongo Lloyd. He is the guy who owns the MLM Freestyle Company, and he is flying out tomorrow to BC for the, I think it's the World Freestyle Wrap-Up. All around the world, there'll be freestylers and skateboarders flying in for this event. So all the best to you there, MLM, and I think we have the new deck on the wall here. You guys will probably see it during the show. It's over by David there. I don't know if Barry's got a camera on it or not, but Barry will get to it eventually. Aunt Betty, how are you there, my love? Hello to you all. Aunt Betty says, you made me feel old now, Ken. Well, I hope you're getting the seniors discount, Betty, because I know that you just turned 65 this year. We're going to Niagara Falls this week. Is that right? No, next week. This weekend
next
I go.
Wednesday.
Right. This weekend I go down to the Watchmen rehearsal on Sunday. That'll be fun. It'll be nice to see the guys. And then Wednesday we go down to Niagara, and we're doing a special Wednesday. Next Whiskey Wednesday is going to be dedicated to the Watchmen, so there's a bunch of Watchmen stuff that I've put together for next Wednesday, and we'll be shooting some stuff for the following Wednesday. We're going down to play with 5440 and Pursuit of Happiness, which is going to be a great show, amazing Canadian content, unbelievable time it's going to be. So we're looking forward to that, and this is going to be Allison's first show out in, I can't remember how long ago. She had just been diagnosed with MS, and she was walking with a cane at the last show. It was at the Danforth Music Hall. She could still do stairs, so it was probably 2017. It was the last time she was at a show. So this place is fully accessible. So we've got from the hotel, from the apartment, from the room in the hotel, all the way to backstage is clear. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be an amazing time. We've got everything set up, and it's really good. Don Bursey, hello from Labrador City, Newfoundland. Oh man, the last time, Don, I was in Labrador City was 2015 with Ron Hines, and I paid $26 for a package of cigarettes. I couldn't believe it. This was a long time ago. Yeah, I went up and I ordered a pack of smokes and I gave her 20 and she said, that's 26. And I said, yeah. I didn't even hear what she said. And I'm like, yeah, there's a 20. And she's like, no, it's 26. And I'm like, sorry? I didn't even comprehend it at the time. So I hope you're not a smoker up there anyways. Hey, John Cashin, how are you? And Gail, how are you? We are going to do a Neil Young song now, it looks like, which is cool because we're actually opening up for Neil in a couple months too, aren't we? Is that in June? The Watchmen are opening up for Neil Young and Crazy Horse out in London. I still can't. Is it July?
July.
I still can't believe we're doing that. That's wild. Do this in C.
Yeah. See.
Look out, mama, there's a white boat coming up the river with a big red beacon and a flag and a man on the rails. I think you better call John, 'cause it don't look like they're here to deliver the mail. And it's less than a mile away, and I hope it didn't come to stay. It's got numbers on the side and a gun, and it's making big waves. Daddy's gone, my brother's out hunting in the mountains. Big John's been drinking since the river took him and Lou. And the powers that be left me here to do the thinking. And I just turned 22, and I don't know what to do. And the closer I got, the more those feelings grew. Shelter me from the powder and the finger. Cover me with the thoughts that pull the trigger. Think of me as one you'd never figure would fade away so young, with so much left undone. Remember me to my girl, you know I'll miss her. Daddy's rifle in my hand felt reassuring. He told me red means run, son, numbers add up to nothing. When the first shot hit the dark side, I saw it coming. Raised my rifle to my eyes, never stopped to wonder why. Then I saw black and my face flew to the sky.
fun one to play. Yeah, I'm not sure what Neil's going to be playing. It's the Neil Young and Crazy Horse, so I'm really not sure what it's going to be, but it's going to be fucking wild.
They've got an immense catalog to choose
They
from,
do,
so
don't they? Yeah.
Whatever Neil feels like that day, I suppose.
That's kind of what it's going to be, exactly. Exactly.
Speaker cabinets on stage. They're doing the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be. I just want to see it. I just can't believe that I'm going to be able to see it from.
You still got those props from
Yeah.
Russ Never Sleeps?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw that they were in, I think, Shoreline or something like that a few weeks ago, or a week ago.
Oh yeah, and they've got the old back line. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing. It's going to be an amazing time. Amazing time. Hey, Heart Creed, how you doing there, buddy?
He looks behind you, man.
Ah. We're going to play a song called $1 a Day. This is off the new record. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk for a second about something. It's almost a year, no, it's almost 3 years since this album here came out. This is All Together Now. This is the COVID album I did, and we did Powderfinger on this. I want to mention some of the people that played on it. This record's amazing. Let's just see who played on Powderfinger. Where's Powderfinger? Tommy Young from Headley, Forrest from Big Wreck, Sandy Morris from Ron's band and everybody back home in Newfoundland, Matt Mays, this plays an unbelievable electric guitar. Paul Kinsman from back home plays with everybody. He played with Ron Hines. He plays with Alan Doyle and the whole gang back home. And Neil Lucy was playing 12-string on that one. So a really fun record to do. And right now, to save on shipping, I hate to be silly, but to save on shipping with the new record, if you want to buy 2 or 3, the shipping remains the same. So you can actually get all 3 pieces of vinyl for $100 or something, I think. It's on the website. Check it out. But that's the old album. So we're going to be referring to that all this month because it's been 3 years since that record came out. This is a song called $1 a Day, and it goes just like this. 1, 2, 3.
I was walking down the road when a stranger passed my way. It was empty in his business eyes. He made no move to step aside. He disregarded me. His brain was bleeding compromise. It would be a rude awakening if I knocked him down and stole away his shoes. There's no place that I'd rather be, and that place is anywhere here but next to you. Well, you'll work harder with a gun at your back for $1 a day. You'll trade away your years to fight the fears they feed you for $1 a day. I stopped along the way to hear a politician speak. He stood to stand for something. He promised better futures for everyone who toed the line and got behind him. He grew ugly and unwise as he lied about the lies and how they made him feel. The cracks in his disguise grew longer and he could no longer hold inside the truth that he tried to conceal. Well, you'll work harder with a gun at your back for $1 a day. You'll trade away your years to fight the fears they feed you for $1 a day. Well, you'll work harder with a gun at your back for $1 a day. You'll trade away your years to fight the fears they feed you for $1 a day.
Hey, a little $1 a day there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Mike Monroe said that's $365 a year. That is not bad for a touring musician these days. That's not bad at all. It's a long way to travel and $1 for a song. Okay, so we're going to get into Anna Ruddock. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Anna. Actually, you're going to find out all about Anna, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience with Anna, what I found fascinating. I met her at the Cameron House when I was down with the Ireland Brothers a few months ago. Neil was with me. And Paul Reddick was getting ready to go to play after us, and it was a great night. We're having lots of fun, and I looked up on stage, and there was sort of this lady, and she was dressed sort of in a dress and looked very sort of just calm, and I'm like, I don't know this. What's she doing? And she pulls this red Rickenbacker out of the case, and I'm like, wow, this is great. Why don't I know this person? Like I thought I knew all the musicians. Anyways, they started playing, and by the second song, I was just like, holy shit, who is, like, it takes something for a bass player to stop me. Not because I'm anything great, but just because I've been playing music and worshiping bass players for so long. And what really turns me on about a bass player isn't what you'd think. But she just had a way of just playing all the right notes and also leaving all the right fucking spaces. It was just one of those beautiful, beautiful things. So I talked to her after the show, and we had a chat outside, me and her and Neil and a few other people, and I got her info, and I called her up and I said, I want to have you on the show, and she's like, oh, that's cool, and I still I knew a few people that she worked with, and I kind of, because she had told me a couple names, but when I was researching her for to be on the show, I found out all this stuff. I mean, she did, even in our interview, she didn't mention it. She's like, she's not a name dropper. She doesn't rest on her laurels or talk about her accolades all the time. I can't believe out of the 2 hours collectively I've spent talking to her, she didn't mention so much of the stuff that she's accomplished. Anyways, I'd like you all to meet Miss Anna Ruddock here on the Whiskey Wednesday show.
Our next guests are here tonight with their new collaborative album entitled It's Decided. Now, one is a veteran songwriter, and the other is a founding member of Broken Social Scene.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Whiskey Wednesday show. Today we're going to, I'm not going to say that I'm interviewing, and I'm not even going to say that I'm having a chat with a friend, because in fact, I only recently met Anna Ruddock, and I was at the Cameron House doing a show with the Ireland Brothers, and which is something I haven't played the Cameron House in 30 years. It's just the weirdest thing to be back in that room. And afterwards, Paul Reddick was playing, and I looked up on stage, and there was this just sort of very relaxed looking lady up there with a Rickenbacker bass. And I kind of went, wow. So I thought, I used to be in tune with the scene. I used to know everybody, but I don't know any sort of female Ricky players. Ooh. And then you played, and I stuck around until the end of the set, and I came outside to talk to you. And one of the things that I did within 5 minutes was invited you on the show. So today we are not really interviewing, we are going to get to know, and I am going to get to know as well, Miss Anna Ruddock. I did all the research, of course, I went to your website, I did all the Wikipedias and stuff. You are, just in essence, you are a schooled, fantastically versatile, unbelievably deeply pocketed bass player.
Oh, thank you. That's a really nice thing to say.
I'm a bass player too, and that's what I notice all the time is bass players. And very rarely am I inclined to go up to talk to somebody about bass playing after. I've been having those conversations for 35 plus years, and for the most part, they just sort of it's all surface talk about stuff. But when I see somebody like you play, I just got to get to know, like, where's it coming from? I know that you went to school, you went to McGill, and you studied jazz, and you've been a part of many sort of broadening your horizon things like the Banff Center for the Performing Arts. But where is what you're doing coming from these days? I know it's a really deep question to get to right off the top, but good Lord, what I saw you doing was just brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant bass playing.
Where it's coming from, I think like I ask myself that too because I don't know. I know it's like, and I have that unusual thing where I'm playing a lot of different kinds of music. I'm like, sometimes the type of music I'm playing, I feel like a little bit of a tourist coming into it because having the experience of having a dark jazz past and having really studied, like, then I'll have the chops to play, say, like some metal gig where it's very technical, but like I don't really listen to that kind of music. And I think I've been in a lot of those situations. I like a challenge. I like that like athletic aspect to music where you're like really learning to like get deep inside something or like some style of music, and it's like my brain is very mathematical and very methodical about it, and I just really enjoy being able to execute things well. So in summary, I've just played a lot of different music because it's just interesting for me to just go check something out and do something. It's maybe different than being extremely passionate about one thing or the other, but I think maybe that some of that is where it comes from. But yeah, I just really like when I'm playing and when I'm performing, it's always just felt like very, very easy to me because I've just created, I've done the work to be able to just be very fluid with it. But in terms of where it comes from, I don't know. I think it's that. I think it's just kind of like dabbling in everything and like just studying and practicing and, you know, really wanting to find that groove. And I think the drummer you saw me playing with was Gary Craig. And I mean, it really helps to play with him.
I was so envious the whole set, A, of
Yeah.
your playing, but B, I was just like, oh my God, she's getting to play with this guy. This is insane.
Yeah, I get to play with him all the time. And I will say, like, having the privilege of playing with like drummers that have been around and played with everybody, he plays like Bruce Coburn and people like that. That, every time I play with somebody like him, I'm learning something. And I don't know, I'm just like a guess forever kind of student of like what it is that I'm doing. And I'm always just reaching for learning something new about it or learning a new way to be in the pocket or whatever it is. Yeah. I guess that's how I'm thinking about it. I have to keep things really interesting for myself.
It's interesting to me when I see somebody like yourself who went to school and learned all the tools. Here's your toolbox.
Yeah.
Here's everything from the theory to the technique to the setup of your instrument and all that stuff. And then there's other people that have never been educated in any sort of way, and they learn their voice early on, and the technical part came later. Did you find that, like you kind of mentioned it earlier, like you've got all the skills, you can fit into anything and make it happen. Did you find that having the skills and all the tools before, as a younger person, before you found your own voice as a bass player, do you think that helped you to get creative, or how was that experience? It's different than the way I learned how to play bass, for example. I wasn't schooled in that way. So how did you find that? Like, by the time you came out of university, I'm assuming in your early 20s, you probably would have had all the tools that most working bass players are still going to take another 10 years to learn.
Yes and no. When I went to school, I studied jazz. Obviously, I didn't play electric bass. So when I came out of school, it was like, when I went to school, I'm 40. So like when I went to McGill, for example, it was like 20 years ago. And back then, like we used to gig every night. Like we'd finish school and we'd go play at a restaurant. I mean, this type of infrastructure doesn't exist for students anymore, but we were always gigging and always playing. So I took that approach, and I had a friend who was like in a popular band, and he's like, you can't play jazz forever. Like I have to quit this one band because this other band got big and famous. Take my other band, it's like a progressive rock band, get an electric bass and like learn. And so like I did stuff like that. Like somebody would kind of mentor me into a band, and then I joined like cover bands and just played every night to like get the non-jazz music under my fingers, because I didn't have that. I didn't come out of school. I bought my first electric bass when I was like 23 or 24 or something. But yeah, so I had to relearn. But I think like having studied jazz and being really into that maybe lent to what my voice ended up being, because I definitely have my own style of playing for sure. There's like in terms of like most of the work I do is studio work, and I think I get hired for like the sound that I have and things like that. But I think that it's all just like influenced by having started on the upright.
Yeah.
And I think I'll always play the sideways bass, just informed by how I played the upright. I don't know. But no, I didn't have all the skills out of university. I had to kind of go back. I had to kind of go to rock and roll school pretty quickly.
Okay.
and play all the time, all the cover
Yeah.
gigs. Yeah, all that stuff.
Those are some of the best years of our lives as musicians when
Yes.
to the learning curve.
Yeah.
I remember coming to Toronto from Newfoundland and finding the Queen Street scene where I could play 6 nights a week, and
Yeah.
I loved it. It was an amazing chance, and learning so much new material every week. Really, sort of it knocked in the way that songs were put together, arrangements, all those sort of things, and the language of how to speak with other musicians. Working with so many musicians, I imagine that you've. I mean, how like we've talked a lot about your jazz background, but I mean, like right now, one of your current projects is Ian Blurton's what's it called, Future Now,
Yeah.
and like Ian Blurton, as those of us who sort of know Ian a little bit, it's loud rock and roll guitar, verging on, I mean, well, I'm not sure what the label is, but it's pretty aggressive stuff.
It is. That's kind of like where I was talking about. I feel like a little bit of like a tourist in that music because it's definitely not what I listen to. Although, like I've had some of my favorite bands have been heavier bands. Like I used to just love the Mars Volta, and like but it was like the only rock band I was listening to when I was in jazz school because there was that element of like weirdness to it. So there is that does inform that kind of thing. It's definitely like a little bit of a different type of metal than that. But I'm sorry, what was the question about?
It was sort of how, not the, I don't expect an exact answer, but just as a sort of query, how does a upright jazz student come in and sort of years later find yourself playing in a pseudo heavy metal band? Just because I don't know the term, what it would be actual called.
It is like a pseudo heavy metal band. I don't know. I mean, I
How
worked
does it
with
feel?
It feels great, and I feel like it's the most fun I've probably ever had playing rock, like is playing with those guys. Like I love like Glenn Milcham's the drummer, for example. I always go back to who the drummer is because I'm also one of those people that's like it's really like it's really necessary for me to be with like the right drummer to feel like it's really like gonna take off, you know what I mean? And that's hard to find. It's hard to find those people that you feel like on the level with. I love his playing, and he too, like he plays in Blue Rodeo,
Yep.
and then he's in this band, so it's like I feel good like being next to my buddy that's also doing a lot of stuff that's not Ian Blurton's Future Now. That's like almost the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that like versatility that we both have, and like we can come into that and like just let off all of the steam in the entire world playing those shows with Ian and like play so loud. And my colleague Aaron Goldstein, who I've worked with forever, like I met him on one of my first sessions at the Tragically Hip studio at the Bathhouse, which was probably like 15 years ago, and he's in that band too. And he's like done the City and Color gig too, like I have, and all the country gigs and like all that, and he's in that band and just slaying it as well. It's kind of this, we're like metal weekend warriors, but it is an amazing band. And I think we have a fourth record written now too. So it's just keep on going in the studio and making music and playing extra loud. You should
That's
come see
amazing.
it.
Do you wear earplugs?
No.
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 Do you have all your hearing?
No. No, I don't. I have like yeah, I definitely don't have all of my hearing. I'm really noticing it now that I should have been wearing earplugs this whole time. I use in-ears in some of the gigs that I have, which definitely helps with that. But there's been a lot of gigs that I've done, a lot of heavy touring where I just like everybody else was ears except me and one other person or whatever. I'm getting older now and I know that I need to get them.
I have a hard time. I have a hard time. I always have had a hard time with them. I mean, I'm going back to the days of touring when the monitors had light bulbs in them as fuses. And as the band played louder, the monitors would actually start glowing orange and then they'd explode, and that would be the fuse.
That'd be cool.
We all did that for way too long. And, I think Ian Thornley, when I was playing with Sekou, who's one of these fantastic drummers that makes you a way better bass player.
He's made me a way better bass player a few times. Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. He's lovely. But the combination of him playing over Ian's, wall of guitars and me trying to get the bass in there, those 5 years really sort of took out the 2K in my right ear.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it happens. I do try and tell young people to wear the earplugs because not everybody can afford in-ears. They're quite expensive for young musicians.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, I hated it. You know, I hate recommending it because I also know how much fun it is to just feel that music inside of your eardrum, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about us wanting to do that to ourselves, but it is a great feeling.
It is an amazing feeling, and, if I was, like, playing with Future now, it's like, if we went on tour, I would probably make the decision to get the molds, like, just at least to take, the 9 dBs or whatever, like, just some kind of like, not actual earplugs, but, yeah, again, I don't know why we do that to ourselves. I've always just enjoyed that, like, almost like you're gonna have a headache for 3 weeks kind of loudness. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been the last few years I'm fully on in-ears whenever we do any Watchmen stuff, just because it's really loud. And I like to sort of almost lean on the 810 and,
Yeah.
feel it, but it's not good for the ears. But speaking of big amps and stuff, I'm sure that you've played your way through every combination of amplifiers that is out there, as we all do. And we all end up settling on something that we really like. The Ampeg 810 with an SVT head has been my choice of amplifier since the early 90s. 15 years ago, I switched over to Trainer. They're making amazing things once again now.
I was working with Trainer for a while, and I like their amps as well. The YBA 300, it's really great. It's huge.
Love it.
There's a lot of backline in my life these days, so I'm obviously just doing the Ampeg thing, but
And that's the problem that I have too. It's all fly-ins, and there's always just two Ampegs sitting on the side of the stage. But I do try and get Trainer whenever I can. I've been working with them for a while, and I love their stuff. But I wanted to get your impression on, like just Trainer gear, for example. You can get the little 200-watt bass amp. It's literally this big and 5 inches deep. It fits in your purse. It's got some very basic controls on it, but you plug into that and you put it directly into a PA, and nobody out there will notice.
no,
But,
those are great, and
but
they
how does
sound.
that make you feel as a bass player?
How does it make me feel?
Yeah, do you need that amp on stage? Do you need to?
It depends. I mean, it just depends on what I'm doing, the type of music I'm playing. If it's anything with a singer-songwriter, no, and I don't think they need my amp on stage either. If I'm playing upright, no. An upright bass, I just want like the smallest solid state amp in the world,
Yeah.
like a keyboard amp or something is fine. I think my Rick sounds good with solid state gear too, because it's a very, very bottom heavy kind of sound. But no, I don't need my amp on stage. And again, like if there's like a female singer with a quiet voice, she doesn't need my amp on stage either.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I'm finding it amazing.
And then in-ear, it's like I can't fucking hear it anyway, so it's fine if it's just, you know what I mean? It's whatever the audience is hearing is what's most important in those situations. Like when I play with Fifi Dobson, we're on in-ears, like we're fully. So like a lot of the times with her, if I'm bringing my own amp, I just bring like a small amp with like 210s, like my Trainer, which is a solid state head, actually the Trainer that I have. It's an older one, but kind of like a monoblock, kind of that kind of vibe. But yeah, no, I don't think so. It just depends on what's needed. If I'm playing with Ian Blurton, yeah, I want my amp on stage. It's like a 70s orange rig, which is really, really cool. But yeah. No.
Yeah, I do lots of gigs without an amp. You can just send a line directly into a DI and, put a little bit back in the monitor if you need to. It's what's going on out front. But when I'm playing rock and roll, like certain types of rock, like I can't imagine being on stage and turning around and not seeing the wall of amps.
Yeah.
And not feeling it, like not feeling that the air moving.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that in a rock and roll environment. Singer-songwriter, blues, sort of almost any other genre, I can imagine that. But there's something about rock and roll that needs to be felt, I think.
Oh no, 100%. Even if it's in a small venue, absolutely. No, I 100% agree with you.
Very cool. Well, there are lots of great products out there, and Trainer has a bunch of them, as do I'm not going to get it now. It's a bunch of the companies I've done some reviews on them. Really, really cool stuff. 4, 5, and 6 string basses.
I only have 4-string basses.
You only have 4-string basses?
Yeah, I've always only had 4-string basses. I've never had a 5-string. I don't think I have the kind of gigs where people you'd expect to see that. I'm not really sure, but yeah, they're all like I don't have any of those 5, 6 string, any basses with active pickups, any of that stuff. It's pretty like old school with the stuff that I play through. So yeah.
Very cool. I'm with you on that. I mean, I have had 5 and 6 string basses, just out of curiosity over the years. And my 6 string bass, I only ever played the low B string, but there was so much mass in the neck that it sounded incredible.
Yeah.
And I dabbled with some 5s when we were doing the modern rock stuff with Thornley, because it was all in low B or low A, or even lower depending on what the song was. But yeah, but I've always just come back to the 4. That's where I've settled. Are you a stickler for types of gear you use? Like, are you like Fender is really the only way to go, or do you have a bunch of different equipment? Is there something that you particularly like?
I have
I know you've got your Ricky.
I have my Ricky, which is like what I played 95% of the time. It's
Okay.
like a Model 4000. So that bass has one pickup. Like a lot of the Rickenbacker that you'd usually see is the 4001, which has the 2 pickups.
Yep.
This one is a little bit of a rare one. I mean, the spot for the I had my tech open it up the other day to clean it out, and I was like, there's actually a spot for the second pickup, but it's more like a P bass, but it's a Rick. And it's really, really I love that bass above all other basses in the whole world. It records really well. It always sounds good. It's so reliable. You can like throw it down a staircase and it won't break. It's like, it's just been with me for so long. Randy Bachman gave me that bass when I did a record with him like in 2015. So I guess I've had it for like 9 years, but yeah. He since has bought a few other ones that were the same model and they weren't as good, but yeah, he gave me that bass, which was really nice. And then I have a jazz bass, which I rewired the pickups to be in like series parallel, so it sounds a bit more bottomy. And then I have a Gibson EB Chew. So I have like 3 drastically different instruments, but I don't own a P bass.
Wildly different instruments.
Yeah.
No fretless for somebody who played.
Oh, no, I do have a fretless. I have a wonderful fretless, actually. It's like a 62 reissue jazz bass from the 90s that we took the frets out of.
Yeah, beautiful.
So they replaced them with like basically like white plastic. So like I can shred around on it, but like not play it out of the tune. I had actually a fretless 70s P bass with like the clean neck, but I just couldn't fucking play it in tune. Like I didn't know where any of the notes were on it. So like it's hard.
Well, it is. I mean, the way the double bass is
at all.
set up is right where the curve is. That's sort of where everything.
Yeah.
And then you've got it. There's no curve. You just got this long neck that goes up, and it's really crazy.
So it sounded incredible, but it's just like I'd have to, this one I have it had frets, so I know where the frets were, and I love that bass. I love recording with that. I can't believe I forgot about that. It's because I left it at the studio I work out for about 6 months, but the fretless bass is a big thing too.
Very
I
cool.
always bring that to sessions because it just provides a completely different sound that you don't expect.
Ripped jeans hanging by the back door. James Dean, I know what you came for. Meet me underneath the chandelier.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to the Whiskey Wednesday show. Every Wednesday we will be here, rain or shine, richer or poorer. Tip jar is in the link above. Never expected but always appreciated. Never confuse the size of your paycheck with the size of your talent. I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by midnight. Always appreciated, never expected. Please feel free to drop us a line regarding anything, including a link to your money. Cheers.
Boom. And we are back live again on the Whiskey Wednesday show. Well, actually, we've been live on the Whiskey Wednesday show the whole time, but the Anna interview was pre-recorded. What a great interview. I mean, it's so nice. I mean, it's so nice just to talk to her. Wonderful lady and great stories, but so good to get an up close look at what she's using, what gear she's using, her sort of methods and stuff. Just brilliant. She's such a fantastic bass player to run into. So happy to have met her. We got more coming up with her in a few minutes. We're going to play a song first. Yeah, I know, Ron. Wait, that song was good. I know. That's what Allison said when she watched the video. She said, "Who's that? This song at the end? I want to hear more of that." It's pretty groovy, yeah. Okay, it's yes, it is 4 a.m. now. See if we can say something on the go for y'all this weekend with the Watchmen. This is a song called Barstools and Broken Hearts. It goes just like this: 1, 2, 3, 4.
Everybody's coming home to find the life and love before the war turned cold and broke down over time. Broke family and broken love, tangled stories made up of the time you were away. A broken soldier's heart replays. Stop pretending there's a war outside. Don't pretend to be the truth from days gone by. It's just bar stools and broken hearts, another night to fall apart. Puzzle pieces in your head, another stranger in your bed. It's just bar stools and broken hearts, another day, another start to face the truth and climb that hill. Another prayer unwinds. Alone with the truth is the hardest time to kill. Broke jobs and broken dreams, a little too old it seems. The life you thought you'd have lives only as an illusion now it seems. Broken wallet and broken hearts that put you in this place. The whiskey, drugs and cigarettes are filling up that empty space. Stop pretending it's just the way things go. Don't pretend to be more than the lies that we all know. It's bar stools and broken hearts, another night to fall apart. Puzzle pieces in your head, another stranger in your bed. It's just bar stools and broken hearts, another day, another start to face the truth and climb that hill. Another prayer unwinds. Alone with the truth is the hardest time to kill. Promises and broken truth. The radio plays songs from our youth, bands that we both loved, twisting words we sang like morning doves. Broken world and broken people trying to get ahead. The sympathy that lies beneath, for all intents, gets left for dead. Stop pretending it's just the way things go. Don't pretend to be more than the lies that we all know. It's just bar stools and broken hearts, another night to fall apart. Puzzle pieces in your head, another stranger in your bed. It's just bar stools and broken hearts, another day, another start to face the truth and climb that hill. Another prayer unwinds. Alone with the truth is the hardest time to kill.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Alone with the truth is the hardest time to kill. Yeah, that is that line.
That's a good one.
That line resonates with me way too often. Oh my! Finally getting the fucking words for that one in my head. God damn, it's taken a long time. The weather is good. The skateboards are abound. The skate park is still mostly empty because school is in, so that's kind of cool. And I do think we have a new skate video, which Allison said I can play tonight. So let's check out. You guys aren't getting off that easy.
You didn't ask our permission.
I know. This is
what the
a
heck?
secret for you guys. This one has me talking instead of our music, too. It's extremely interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Barry, here we go.
Hey folks, Ken Tizzard here. How you doing today? Oh, back out at the skate park again. Wonderful Campbellford skate park. I'm so lucky to have a place like this right in town. I've been low on energy the past few days. I don't know. I think sort of being mid-50s, the energy is always an issue. But shoveling a couple of yards of dirt for the yard and playing a couple shows and getting out and doing some exercise. It was took a fair bit of energy to get me to go into the park today. But I did get back and it was great. I did some random bowl work, and then what you see me doing here now. This is the boring part of the exercise, just getting used to going back and forth in different directions, trying to get my head to turn the right way so that I know what direction I'm going in. It's a bit of a brain trick more than anything else. But growing up in St. John's, I spent my
days skateboarding, from place to place. We didn't have bowls and stuff, so it was all about going in one direction. So I'm learning that now, learning how to work in fakie or switch, whatever you want to call it. I am starting to figure out the little line on this bowl here from the shallow end into the medium and then right down into the deep. There's a nice little line that I can follow and almost sort of keep perpetual motion going, which is a really nice thing. I love that feeling of kind of just surfing, just kind of moving around, and it takes a lot of energy, but you're not exhausting yourself going from trick to trick. It's just sort of a constant flow, which is really nice. It's one of the things that I really love about skateboarding, is this sort of idea of perpetual motion. I'm getting used to moving my legs more and more while they're being bent as opposed to being straight. I find that keeps, I don't know why I tic-tac everywhere instead of pushing. I know that most skateboarders push. I hate pushing. I never liked it when I was a kid. I sort of learned how to tic-tac, and that was how I got around. I think that's probably also why I like freestyling so much. It's a different type of movement. Then we move over in the park, do a couple little humps, and just moving around again. The not pushing, just kind of really enjoying the pumping of the tic-tac is a really, really good thing, good movement exercise. If you don't know how to tic-tac, I would highly, highly, highly recommend learning that. It's a great way to get the board moving. And once you get the feeling of it, it is as natural as breathing, really. Again, this park has lots of great little obstacles. I haven't gotten into doing the slides yet on the grind box there. That's trying not to do too many impact tricks. It's another thing being 55 years old and having skated as a kid and ruined my knees back then. It's a, sort of low impact is better. Like even if I spend a little bit of time trying some ollies, I feel it in my knees that night. I'm on my freestyle deck here, the MLM deck. I really, really enjoy it. It's flat nose, single kick. Just learning some manuals, some nose manuals. I'm starting to work around with those, just little balance exercises. It's actually really hard to get that back end off the board with trying to get the pressure right, but lots of fun to try anyways. And doing a couple of monster walks and end overs and just basic spinning. There's a little monster walk looking about as comfortable as I don't know what. End overs, which are a lot of fun for me because I can change directions during them, which is cool. Anyways, have a great day. Be safe. Cheers. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. More skateboarding.
And the really great thing is that Allison gave me permission to 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a video with my entire 50 lengths of swimming.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it only takes me about 45 minutes.
45 minutes of Neil
so
swimming.
I'll have time for what?
You're going to set the gimbal up so it
songs.
Follows you?
Oh, no, I don't have to. I'll just put it at one end of the lane, you see.
Oh, so it just sees you swimming away and then back and then away. It sounds almost as exciting as watching me skateboard.
So exciting. It's just absolutely.
It
love
is
the way
fun.
you can talk so evenly, even when you're skating.
I know.
Doing turns and falling off.
I can do that when I'm swimming, but most of it comes out as.
No, I'm having a really good time. I'm having a really good time being back, and I'm sort of I'm advocating for older skateboarders everywhere. I'm also advocating for skate safety and wearing pads and stuff. So, not that there's really anybody looking for an advocate for that sort, but that's what I'm doing, folks. So get with the program. Start liking my videos. Uncle Neil swimming, can't wait. Excellent.
I know, it's going to be great.
That's great. That's excellent.
I knew Tony would be in. He's one of those guys.
Okay, we're going to play one more song, and then we're going to get back to Anna Part 2. This is a Slade Cleave song, and it is, it goes like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I see a car winding up the driveway, up to your parents' place. The old man looks up from his raking.
I'm going to to start this one again because I started in the wrong place. Didn't start at the beginning of the story. No, I'm going to start the verse again.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're on the other side of the world tonight, but under the same cold stars. And tonight I'll dream you right back home to this little life of ours. We walk hand in hand through fields of green, just like we did last year. It's so hard to wake up every day and watch as your dreams disappear. It's quiet here, your little boy's asleep. He looks more like you every day. Won't you come back, my darling? Each night I pray on bended knee. Won't you come back to the green mountains and me? I see a car winding up the driveway, up to your parents' place. The old man looks up from his raking as the color drains from your mama's face. She's crying softly by the window now, while your daddy shakes the soldier's hands. Taillights disappear to the woods below. He's frozen in the doorway where he stands. In the twilight, in the silent snow, I hear you singing in my ear. Won't you come back, my darling? Each night I pray on bended knee. Won't you come back to the green mountains and me? Seasons come and the seasons go. We live from day to day, and I lose a little bit of myself with each tear I wipe away. The people on the street used to stop and chat. Now they look down and walk on by. Won't you come back, my darling? Each night I pray on bended knee. Won't you come back to the green mountains and me? Why don't you come back to the green mountains and me? Oh, babe, why don't you come back to the green mountains and me?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to, without any further ado, jump right into part 2 of Anna because it's 9 o'clock. This part is just as good as the first. You all ready? Here we go. Fresh strings or dead strings?
Like if I'm doing like an arena tour with like a rock band, like a radio kind of like I'd probably change them pretty often, but like in terms of my day-to-day playing, like I never change them. I just have labellas that are like 2 years old on all my basses. I always play with flat wounds too, if that's your next question.
That was going to be the next question. Okay, and you always play flats, eh?
I have like on this bass I have half wounds.
Yeah.
I kind of like those for like the more metal stuff. They're really heavy gauge half wounds, but yeah, they just feel like flat wounds. But I like a heavier string, yeah.
That's very cool. I've dabbled with flat wounds. I don't know. I guess for the majority of what I did for the 30 years with the Watchmen, the last 30 years, it's been all based around a really bright, ringy tone. I actually made the adjustment in the Watchmen. I was only ever going to just use fingers. When people told me to use a pick, it was like no. But I have since become a pick player as well, and now I quite I realized that I had underestimated the value of being able to attack like that when you've got a bunch of guitars, competing with you. So
I don't play with a pick ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you would. I was gonna say you don't strike me as the type who would. You don't need to. You're getting around, man. You are doing incredible things. I can't. When you're playing with Paul, like when I saw you, is that sort of a set that you've been playing for a while, or does he just kind of call out a key, or like how
No,
strict is that?
there's songs that are he's not just calling out a key. Like I mean, you might have seen a bit of that. There's sometimes he's like, I want to play this song, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like I don't have this massive blues repertoire, but like, I started working with him. Yeah, I would say like 15 years ago, we made a record called Wishbone. That was at the Tragically Hip studio. I used to work there a lot. And so yeah, that was like over the past 15 years, like those, like I've been in and out of like actually playing live with him, because sometimes I've been on tour for a few years with another band, he just gets somebody else, but I always like come back and end up playing with him because I love playing with him so much.
Yeah.
So we've done a few records since then and a few tours, and we just play a lot in Toronto. And I have 3 kids, so I'm like trying to do lots of gigs locally, which I never did before, but now I want to do that.
And well, you had just had a child a month before I met you, I believe, and this was your first time out doing a gig.
Yeah.
How's it? I mean, I remember, when we had our kids, we had 2 kids 2 years apart, when we were 30, and
Yeah.
I was out 150 nights of the year. And as the kids got a little bit older, it got up to 225, 250 nights a year. And it was really hard. And that was essentially, that was one of a few reasons that tipped the boat and made me sort of come home and reevaluate my career and start again. How has that been going for you with 3 kids now?
Well, like one of them is 2 months old, so
Yeah.
sure he's out on that one. When I had one, I was a single mom, and my parents were like, she's 6 now, and so like my parents were a little bit younger, and I used to just leave her with them when she was like 1 or 2, and when I would go on the road, and I'd be gone for 3-4 weeks sometimes. And then with 2, a lot of the second one, it was the pandemic, so I had her in the pandemic, my second baby, and then we had our last one just 2 months ago. So I don't know what would have, I don't know what would have transpired, but basically the pandemic hit. I went back to school during the pandemic because I was like, well, I guess, we're not going to be gigging for a while. And I went and did arts administration at Humber, and I got a job at the Unison Fund, which is like a music charity, crisis relief charity. So that we were pretty busy during the pandemic, and I had that day job. So we're like, we had another couple kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know yet. When I was 6 months pregnant with my last, Malcolm, our son that we just had, Unison laid me off, which is hilarious. So I had this like whole new 3 years in a new career. I still was playing all the time, but
Yeah.
the answer is I don't know, because I've just gone back to music full time now after quite a few years, really, because I was working on the other side of the music industry, always making records and always playing, especially in the summer, always doing festivals, but not playing full time. And so I've sort of gone back to that now. So I'll let you know how it goes. I don't know. People don't tour the way they used to 4 years ago. So
That's changed a lot.
I've done some things like when I was, in the past year while pregnant, I did a couple of tours for a week or whatever. But it's a lot different. It's just touring and all that is really expensive, and there's not a lot of grants anymore. So it's going to be a lot different. And that's why I'm like, I'll play local gigs as much as I can, things like that. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's life has been going in different directions.
Yeah, you're not alone in that.
Yeah.
You take some comfort in the fact that it's not mean, having the extra child and having 3 kids now is more responsibility, but has nothing to do with what's happening in the work world. I think we're all feeling that a really, really odd time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, is your partner a musician, or is your partner in the field of music?
He was, we met actually because we played in a band called the Beauties together, which was like a Toronto establishment country kind of Americana band, which was about 10 years ago when I moved here. And he was in the Gandharvas in the 90s. He was the guitar player in that band, which was like
I remember the Gandharvas, yeah.
popular Canadian band from London, Ontario.
Oh yeah.
And he's older than me. He's in his 50s, and so now he owns bars.
Can you say his name?
Sorry?
Can you say his name?
Yeah, his name is Judd Rule. Yeah.
Okay, I remember him. The Gandharvas did shows with us.
Yeah, I was like, you probably know each other for sure.
Yeah, we're going way back there. Okay, very cool.
So he definitely gets it when when I have to do what I do. He's very supportive of that, obviously, because I mean, he still plays, but not, he owns bars and restaurants that are doing really well that made it through the pandemic. So, he's his own boss in that respect.
He's busy.
But yeah, having a partner that was in many successful bands like that, it was really, really helpful because there's that
absolutely
built in. So if I have to go do something, like, he gets it, and he has a little bit more time to be at home with.
Very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
What do you got going on the summer? What do you got coming up now? What is in your wheelhouse, your current sort of gigs that are happening? Are you doing something regularly that people can check out, or do you have any shows with anybody coming up?
Yeah. Well, I play a lot with Paul, obviously, Paul Reddick in Toronto. Like, we play every other month. We're playing like the Rex, the jazz club on Queen Street. We play that every Sunday. We play the Cameron House the first Friday of every month. I play with a guy called Bry Webb, who is the singer in the Constantines, and he has a solo project. And he's just made another record. We hadn't played in 8 years. I think that's the last time we made a record. And so he's back. And so we're doing the TD stage, which is the smaller venue of Massey Hall, on March 23rd. I don't know if I think this might go on the internet after that. So anyway, maybe people will come out to that. And, we're doing Hillside and Mariposa and those festivals. And then, Fifi Dobson, who I also play with, she's going to be doing some stuff. She made a record and put it out last year. So I know we have some shows coming up.
And do you have a musical coming up?
Yes, my God. I do have a musical coming up. I'm Tom Wilson has a musical of his book Beautiful Scars. He's putting out a musical with the musical director Bob Foster, who I think did Come Away and things like that. I'm so excited to see what it is. Gary Craig and I are both going to be performing in that musical. It's going to be super fun. And that's at the Theater Aquarius, I think, at the very beginning of May. We're starting rehearsals in April, and that's going to be like 5 weeks of work. But yeah, I mean, I think they're workshopping it now, and like, I can't wait to see what it is. I love working with Tom. I played with him like loads of times as well, with like Lee Osmond, his band, and did his record Mohawk, which was the first time I worked with him. And
super groovy guy, very nice cat. He's I met Tom very early on, back when he was in Junk House.
Yeah.
I actually met him before Junk House when I'd moved to Toronto in like '89. Tom was still wearing his big leather trench coat right down to his knees and coming into the Ultrasound, which was run by Yvonne Matzel back then. Stomping around stage in his big leather jacket and singing a cappella tunes. I remember meeting him way back then. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to do the horrible pick one over the other, or give us a reason why. And it's things, but I always find these ones. I'm not going to go too deep on it, but Jocko or Tony Levin?
Jocko forever. I am like I love him. I love like what he did with Joni Mitchell, for example. That was big for me when I was like 17 and like wanting to play jazz. Like, there's nobody that like, I know it can be cheesy to be a Jaco Pastorius fan, but I'm just like, he objectively is, he's pretty up there for me, for sure.
Well, he started a brand new road in the electric bass world. Not to say that he was the first person to ever play a fretless, although that's debatable. I think I don't know exactly where it came from, but I've heard the story of him ripping the frets out and playing the fretless. it wasn't just that he played for Ellis, it was the way he played it, the way that he attacked it, the way that his personality came through it. I mean, you talk about having the tools and then letting your personality take over and use the tools. He did that so well.
Yeah, it's just like he's the prototype of like how you're supposed to do it. If like how to be like an artist on your instrument. Like there's really like that's the prime example really of that. And yeah, that's yeah.
Now, see, it's interesting because when I've been asked that question before too, and the reason that I sort of pick the people that I've picked is because this is the questions that I've had too, and I always go the Tony Levin route because as a bass player who's also been a songwriter for most of my life,
yeah,
I love bass that supports the song, and that doesn't necessarily mean being a creative expressionist on bass the way Jocko is. So I guess that's really there. You know, both of them are I guess the genres speak so much for themselves. But I love the way that Tony Levin can support, so many artists on I don't know how many thousands of records he's played on, and you'd never listen to it and go, "Oh, that's Tony Levin." But when you credits, you see him everywhere. He makes that, and when you do know it's Tony Levin, it is Tony Levin. So, but
I aspire to have the career that he has, and to have like to be such an instrumental part of like popular music the way he is. But the reason I say Jocko is just because of that like voice that he has. But yeah, of course, Tony Levin, that's what we all want. That's what we're all trying to do. And that's the support that you want to lend to an artist. When the couple of times that Jocko played with like a singer-songwriter, the only one I can think of right now is Joni Mitchell. Like he's doing a duet with Joni Mitchell. He's not playing bass with her.
exactly.
Tony Levin playing bass with Joni Mitchell. So it's like, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, the next two, Stanley Clarke or Victor Wooten?
Stanley Clarke.
Did you give me supporting material to go with that?
Supporting Chick Corea. Stanley Clarke, because I love seeing somebody play with that much technique, like playing upright. Like it's like how the hell are you doing that? I don't understand. But with such musicality and such specific tone and such attack, like it's just beautiful. Like I'm Victor Wooten, I'm just like, I don't understand. It's like not my thing. That weird, crazy fusion. Yeah. But Stanley Clarke, I mean, yeah.
It's pretty out there. I always go Stanley Clarke on that one too. Aside from his compositional stuff, which is fascinating, the stuff he does on upright bass is unbelievable composition.
It is unbelievable. It's like it's just like amazing to watch, like finding a great video of him playing, like like that kind of talent that just like spews out. Like it's athletic. It's that athletic thing. Like you're just able to execute. I love it, but with such like just such a specific style too. Like you can really hear him. Like it's him. I love players like that where it's them.
Yeah, absolutely. Most underrated bass player in, let's go in pop culture music. From
pop culture music, let me think.
Somebody you'd hear on the radio and you wouldn't really think, "Oh my God, this guy's a great bass player."
I'm drawing a blank on this. Which Greenwood is the bass player in Radiohead?
I don't actually know his name, but saying the bass player for Radiohead is just as good. That answer will be accepted.
Like, why the hell don't I know which one it is, what his name is? I've been listening to I was listening to actually yesterday, like Radiohead's first record, Pablo Honey, and we got like OK Computer, we got the Bends. These are records that I really liked when I was a teenager on vinyl, and I was listening and I'm like, I had no idea how much I stole from this person, like before he was even playing that kind of music. Like his bass playing, I'm like, it's pretty incredible what he's doing. And I've never like really I've caught anybody talking about him as a bass player like in this, like, I think that might be the most underrated. He's really, really good. And I'm always like, my ear is just catching on to everything that he's doing. And I hadn't listened to those records from the 90s in such a long time, but I was like right away, Judd, did you notice like how good the bass player is in Radiohead? He's like, yeah, no, it's like we're both catching it. It's so we've been like just like constantly listening to those records again for some reason, just in the past few weeks. And I'm like, yeah, this guy is really like, he serves the song so perfectly every single time. So melodic. The tone varies. He's using so many different sounds, but it's like it's really like on top of the mix a lot of the time too. And it's just so melodic. And everybody in that band is such a crazy musician. So
They all have a
yeah.
thing for space, the space between the notes, and that's something that that's one of the things I love about Tony Levin so much is the space between the notes. But yeah, I was listening to the Bends again recently. I've recently started putting my vinyl collection back together, and I was listening to the Bends recently, I smoke a joint at night and play one side of a record in the kitchen here and stand in the dark and sort of dance to it every
Colin
day.
Greenwood is the bass player. I was like, there's Johnny
Greenwood.
I just had to Google it. I'm like, I have to say his name. I'm on a podcast right now.
Colin Greenwood. I'll even find a picture of him.
Hardly an underrated band, but like that bass player, just lately I've been just so back into him. Like he's so good.
That's very good. I should go back and listen to Pablo Honey again. I should try and track it down on vinyl. But yeah, brilliant bass work. One of the I put this record up today because I've always liked this record. I don't know if how familiar you are with Tears for Fears, The Hurting.
No, I don't have that record.
Have you ever listened to it?
I think I've heard Tears for Fears. I'm like, but I don't have that record. I'm like,
this was their first record out, and it has the Mad World on it, which Mad World and Pale Shelter, which were and Change. Actually, that was the 3 singles. But there's a song on it called "Start of the Breakdown." It's the last song on side B, and Kurt Smith was the bass player. And I mean, they had lots of sampled bass and synthesizers in it, but he actually played bass as well. And it was just about 6 months ago, I was doing one of my nightly listens, and Start of the Breakdown came on. And it takes about a minute and a half before the bass line to kind of kick in, and then you can kind of hear it. But by the end of the song, I mean, I remember going back and I woke Allison. I'm like, you've got to listen to this bass. Like, I've never heard this before. Listen to what he's doing.
Oh my God, I got to hear
this. Next day, I went and dug up some live videos of it and watched him play this stuff live. And yeah, I mean, talk about sort of being able to pull out some really crazy, interesting, technically rhythmic and melodic stuff in a very heavy pop band. It made me go back and listen to some more of his playing, and I realized that he's one of those really underrated guys as well. But it's really great to hear. What was his name again? I know you remember it now, don't you?
Colin Greenwood. The most underrated bass player whose name I forgot. Way to go. Yeah, no, that's it for me right now. I've been heavy checking him out again after all the years. So good. And I'm going to listen to that Tears for Fears record. That's awesome.
The whole record is great, but that last song, the bass line sort of, I guess I just, for however many years I'm listening to this record, I just hadn't paid it much attention, which is probably a statement on how my listening has changed over the years more than anything. But anyways, so it's been great getting to know you a little bit today, and I'm sure we'll keep in touch. And when I'm back in Toronto again, I'll see if you're playing around, and if not, maybe if I'm playing, I'll send you a link and you can come out and hang out, and we'll get to see each other again at some point.
I would love that. And thanks for doing this. I know it's hard to schedule, but it's because I have a newborn.
Well, it's
I remember those days. It's like,
you were easy. I kept throwing times at you, and you'd say yes, and then I'd get caught up in something, and it just sort of. It was last night at midnight. I think I was lying in bed, and I went, "Oh, I haven't replied from Anna from like 5 days ago when she said this time is good." And I thought, "Oh, I thought I replied." And anyways, scheduling aside, it's been great to get some time to talk to you and give you a little time away from your children.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Say hi to your mate and your partner in crime for me. It has been a long time since we crossed paths, and I believe I was still playing in a band called Bone Decent when they were going on, and Bone Decent and the Gandharvas and the Morganfields were kind of in circles a lot. We're going way back.
Okay.
But please send my best along. Anna, it's been great talking to you. Did we cover whatever it was we were looking to cover?
I think so, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Great chat, and thanks for taking the time.
Okay, I'll see you soon, I hope.
We'll see you later on. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Walk in love and often say death to our misgivings.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Good Lord. Wow. Oh, what a fun chat. I love how she laughs while she's talking. It's just great. It's just so much fun to talk to her. She's just super, super, super fun. I can't believe how talented she is. And what a great honor it was to have her on the show. Thank you very much, Anna Ruddick, for making the time. We got one more song to end off the night. And again, back to the All Together Now thing. We played Powderfinger. No, what was the last one we just did before this? What was the last song?
Mountains.
Green Mountains. That was on this album too. Slade Cleveson. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh right. This is the one with Sav Sankaran playing bass on it. Sav is the bass player that I worked with down for Merlefest in Carolinas. Great guy. Shane Sliman on drums. Neil Pinto from Winnipeg. Sandy Morris again. Laura Spink and Graydon James from the Young Novelist on it. Paul Kinsman again. And Dave Gunning, acoustic guitar. So like all kinds of people on that. We're going to end with The King Is Gone. Who was on this one? Peter Collins, the bass player for Record Club. Greg Hocko, Newfoundland drummer percussionist. Sandy Morris again. Graham Lindsay, multi-instrumentalist from Ottawa. Unbelievable. All these sort of old folk instruments. You can play them all. Caitlin and Cassidy Tizzard on the background vocals. And Laura Spink, yeah. And Neil Lucy on acoustic guitar.
Huh, how about that?
Wow. All together now. It's a really good record.
Thank you, Devil.
We're going to end with... Little King Is Gone. Is it 2:21? Is it 2:20 a.m. over there, Tony? Holy crap! I hope you're doing all right.
The jet lag's keeping him up.
Exactly. Steve Ustelfollow, that might be the greatest interview yet. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I think you might be right. I think Allison's going to, after this, Allison's going to be like, I'm so excited to do all the research for this. She's going to write like 60 pages on Anna Ruddick.
Have a scotch for me, Tony. Never mind, I'll have one for myself.
We're going to do one more song, and then we've got the Brown Eyed Girl coming up for the video rewind. Again, another song from this album, Brown Eyed Girl. Who's on that one? Oh, yeah, let's do more of this. I like this. It's a good reminder for me. Ken Grant plays bass, Jeff Cormier on drums, Dave Guy on electric guitar, Caitlin and Cassidy, Peter Bogue on harmonica, Kate Wand on background vocals, Andrew Irving on acoustic guitar, and Graham Lindsay again on mandolin and whistle. But tonight it'll just be the Goats playing it.
Yeah.
So we're going to end with Little King Is Gone. Started off with a little Cherokee. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hancock is watching Love Ya Brother. Last night I broke the seal on a Jim Beam decanter that looked like Elvis. Soaked the label off a Flintstone jelly bean jar. I cleared a soft place on that one little table that you left me. I pulled me up a big old piece of floor. Pelvis, yabba dabba doo. The king is gone, and so are you. Round about 10, we all got to talking. About bedrock, Graceland and such. The conversation finally turned to women.
They said they didn't get around that much. And Elvis said, find them young. And Fred said, well, old-fashioned girls are fun. Yabba dabba doo, the king is gone, and so are you. Later on it finally hit me that she wouldn't be coming back no more. This time I know you wouldn't forget me. Like all of them other times before. And I broke Elvis's nose, pouring the last drops from his toes. Yabba dabba doo, the king is gone, and so are you. Yabba dabba doo, the king is gone, and so are you. Yabba dabba doo, the king is gone, and so are you.
Oh, very nice, very nice. We've gotten to another show. Oh my God, it's 9:28. How did we make this one so long, ladies and gentlemen? Allison produced the show. I said to her, this looks like a long one, Allison. She said, that's okay, I've got it under control. So she's okay with it being long. So that's the reason we stopped by 10 after 9. That's Allison's cutoff. It's like, okay, Ken, it's time to wind things down in the house because it gets loud, you know, when Mom calls out and it gets a little lit and she's getting tired at night. So, but tonight she said we could party it up, so we're here till 9:30. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Whiskey Wednesday show. We have an amazing video rewind coming up. This is a video for Van Morrison's, another song from Brown Eyed Girl, Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl from this album. Who's on this one? Brown Eyed Girl. No, that's Boys Don't Cry. Ken Grant on bass. Oh, I already said. I did that. Oh.
I thought so.
What am I doing? I just wanted to make sure, because Allison said show the record. I need to make sure I showed the record. It's great to see you all. Thank you very much. Justin, have a good time in Vancouver, man. Everybody wish Justin all the best out at the skateboard competition. I think he's going to have a really fun time, and he's bringing a bunch of decks out for other contestants and stuff too, being a real cool contributor. So awesome, Justin, all the best. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Great crowd tonight here. Really, really, really appreciate it. Everybody tuning in from Newfoundland and Ireland and all over the place. Mr. Grant, how are you? Anything to report this week?
I'm just great.
Just great. Everything good?
Everything's good.
Oh, excellent. David, are you all good?
I'm fantastic.
Fishing season is fully in now, right? So you're out every minute you can get. Yeah.
Full swing.
Is the water warm yet?
No.
No.
Freezing.
It's still freezing. Okay. So the fish aren't quite active yet, right?
No, they're not. You gotta go deep.
You got to go deep for them. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's like you got lots of those nice lures to do that with.
Oh yeah.
Barry, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay.
Doing all right?
Yeah, all right.
Your summer trip has been rescheduled now because Joyce broke her ankle or hurt her ankle.
Hurt her ankle, yeah.
Sorry to hear that, man, but that's okay. You get to spend more time hanging out with us.
I do.
Sorry to hear that.
Good and bad.
Neil, how are you this week?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing to complain about?
No.
Oh, nothing to report, I meant. I love you, Neil. Okay, everybody.
You too.
Thank you. Ron, you hit a nail on the head earlier today. You know, it's the "Be Like Steve" mantra is hard to it's hard to keep in mind. But you know, as we go through, you know, the more times that you can actually do it than not, the better. So as you're out there, ladies and gentlemen, remember, everybody's in a weird state of mind. Who knows what's going on in somebody else's head? So while you're around, you know, keep that in mind and be nice to people and be like Steve. Take care.
Hey, where did we grow? Days when the rains came down in the hollow, playing a new game, laughing and running, hey, skipping and jumping in the misty morning fog, with our hearts thumping and you, my brown-eyed girl, you, my brown-eyed girl. Whatever happened to Tuesdays and so slow, going down the old line, transistor radio, standing in the sunlight laughing, hide behind the rainbow's wall, slipping and sliding all along the waterfall with you, my brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la la 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 to God. So hard to find my way now that I'm on my own. I saw you just the other day. My, how you have grown. Cast my memory back there, Lord. Sometimes I'm overcome thinking about it. Making love in the green grass behind the stadium with you, my brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la to God? Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la to God. Yeah, just like that. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la to God. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la
Once again, thanks for spending another Wednesday with us here at Storyhouse Studios. Thanks to Trainer, Yorkville, and the Longtooth Beverage Company for being a part of the show. We love our time on the Whiskey Wednesday show and appreciate all your support. Don't forget to hit up Tip Jar if you feel so inclined. Never expected, but always appreciated. Tune in every week for more guests, songs, stories, drinks, and gear talk. And don't forget to visit the website, www.kentizzard.com, to sign up for the Whiskey Wednesday wrap-up, compiled by Allison as a monthly overview with highlights, directories, songs, and so much more. Be kind, be helpful, be happy, be safe. See you next week.
Jimmy